What's good, family? It's your boy Big L with another The Forum Blast. It's actually about 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get myself together, man, to go to work, and I usually get up first thing in the morning, kind of early. Have some prayer time, some focus and reflection time, and some coffee. And I usually scroll through, some of the social media news feeds, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, whatever, just to kind of see what folks is talking about, man, kind of gauge what's happening. And I see so many different things. I see people angry justifiably about Mike Brown and the Ferguson situation. I see people who are angry, but they're trying to shift the focus to this myth, this fallacy of racial rhetoric, quote unquote, black on black crime. I see them posting random other things that's on their mind or whatever the case may be. But I think one of the problems that I notice is that, for one, we've been here before. We've had Mike Browns before. We can go from Mike Brown to Eric Gardner to Renisha McBride to the 51-year-old black female who was beaten savagely by the cop in California, Trayvon. I mean, I shouldn't have to run down a list for you to talk about the number of people who have been assaulted and brutalized, and killed and murdered, execution style in many cases. I don't have to give you that. But with Ferguson, the response has been different than it has been in prior times. There's a level of I'm fed up that's taking place there. And I think it's high time for us to express that, because I think we've been fed up for a long time. But it's high time to express that. We as a people, black people, we're so divided that it can be overwhelming at times thinking about solutions. It can be overwhelming because that's usually within the top 3 of reasons why people don't tend to try to do things with each other in the black community, for lack of a better word, is because we always, we believe that we can't work together because that's been conditioned, and we've seen evidence on a small scale that we can't, but it's been magnified because we have a thought process that we should always be able to work together no matter the situation, no matter the circumstances. But we're so individualistic now that coming up with solutions is an incredibly daunting task for people who are looking to do more than just talk about the outrage. Now, I appreciate people who are on social media platforms talking about these issues. I appreciate you because you have people on your Facebook and other social media feeds who may not be aware of these issues, may not be awake to them. So by us sharing them, it kind of shakes them. And I think that's necessary. But individually, we have to transition from that to building for a collective, for the collective, for Black people in general. But the mental makeup of some of us is so far gone that they would rather switch than fight. So when we begin to think about solutions, and I'm going to touch on this tomorrow night on the Forum show, where I'll be addressing riots, rebellions, protests, our responses to injustice speaks volumes, and begin to think and talk and discuss solutions to these issues. If you're in a situation where you're constantly having the same thing take place to you all the time, at some point in time, you have to stop and begin to say, what the hell can I do to prevent this from happening? Because each time those things have happened, I reacted a different way, but my reaction has not stopped the thing from taking place towards me. It's just gotten worse, and the person who's doing the things wrong to me has gotten more proficient and efficient at doing it. So our response has to change, and we have to transition. So now we understand. We still ring the alarm. We still yell and scream about how white supremacy is the foundation of our issues. We start there and we build up and we address solutions to what we see. It is time for us to transition from a reactionary mentality to a proactive mentality. What are you doing individually to prevent these things from taking place in the future? What are you doing in your own community that can prevent a Mike Brown? It doesn't have to be on this sweeping scale where you do this massive undertaking. But if you're not doing anything, you're contributing to the problem with your inactivity. So I encourage you this morning, family, let's transition from reactionary to revolutionary to proactive. Let's be solution oriented. What can we do in our own communities to prevent, to help not allow these situations to take place anymore? And let's begin to dialogue about that. But be encouraged, man. Be encouraged, you folks who are in Ferguson, grinding and putting your feet to the ground. Be wise. Pay attention, because everybody who is out there and protesting with you are not protesting with you. They're trying to sabotage. You conscious folk in the communities, be aware, man. It is thick out here with agents. People who are looking to sabotage what you're doing. But be encouraged, family. Let's get it. You can catch me tomorrow night, man, every Wednesday nights on Sea Voice Radio, the Forum. Tomorrow's topic will be riots, rebellion, protests, boycotts. Our responses to injustice speaks volumes. It's your boy Big L, man, with another Forum Blast. I'll let y'all later.